Today's lesson is writing a function rule. So title your notes. And let's take a look at the first example. Write a function rule for the table. So our table is our x is 1 and our f of x is 5. Our x value is 2, our f of x is 6, so on and so forth. What this basically is remember x is your input value, f of x is your output value. So what we're doing is we're coming up with some kind of equation, which is called a function rule, that will work for every one of these values. If I put this number in, if I put 1 into that equation in place of x, my output will be 5. So in order to do that, you need to start looking at, okay, how is the input related to the output? So how is the 1 related to the 5? How is the 2 related to the 6? So for the 1 to 5, we could say, well, you either multiply by 5 or you add 4. So to get from 1 to 5, we could do times 5. That would work. Or we could add 4. 1 plus 4 would be 5. Okay, how do we get from 2 to 6? We could multiply by 3, or we could add 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. How do we get from 3 to 7? The only way to do that would be to add 4. And then from 4 to 8, we could either multiply by 2 or add 4. So we need this to be consistent in order to have our function rule. So obviously plus 4 is going to be our part of our function rule. So the way that you write it now is just like we've seen in class. You have f of x equals, and then you just show what's happening. So we're taking our x value and we are adding 4 in order to get that output. So our function rule is f of x equals x plus 4, and clearly this works because 1 plus 4, this is our x value, is 5. 2 plus 4 is 6, so on and so forth. Okay, let's look at another one. Write a function rule for the table. Okay, how are we getting from 1 to 5, from 2 to 7? It's a little bit trickier here because you're actually doing 2 steps. It might take you a little while to see this, but what we're doing is we can multiply these by 2. 1 times 2 is 2, and then we would add 3, and you would get 5. Okay, 2 times 2 would be 4. Add 3, you would get 7. 3 times 2 would be 6. Add 3, you would get 9. And 4 times 2 is 8. Add 3, and you would get 11. So we're doing 2 steps for this one. So the way that you would write that is, again, f of x equals, since we're multiplying it by 2, we could just write it out the way that you see it first, x times 2 plus 3. But again, the way that we would write x times 2 is just 2x. So our function rule would be f of x equals 2x plus 3. That's it for today, guys. Bye-bye.